ATRI My Dear Moments is a phenomenal, uplifting journey to take back the future. Set in an apocalyptic world sunk by the sea, ATRI tells a story of a boy who has lost everything, until he meets the girl at the bottom of the ocean, the girl who will give it all back and even more so. With a beautiful production, ATRI is a wonderfully ambitious work that shows us the joyous experiences of our cast happily enjoying life. But it also shows us the tragic fate that awaits them in a ruined and doomed world. Welcome to the August Tale, and I want to help you find something great to read and experience. So today, we are going to be taking a look at ATRI My Dear Moments. Let's talk about the most significant factor of why you should check out this visual novel, the production staff behind it. ATRI My Dear Moments is a collaboration between Frontwing and Makura as the developers, with both studios being quite renowned in the visual novel industry, with many of their works being widely received. Frontwing has been in the scene for localized visual novels, with their most well-known visual novel series in the West, the Grisaya trilogy. The other studio in this collaboration is Makura, known for releasing works such as H2O, Footprints in the Sand, and their most renowned title, only available in Japanese currently, Sakura no Uta. What's also notable about Makura is that the staff behind the studio is also responsible for the cult hit and critically acclaimed visual novel, Wonderful Everyday, Down the Rabbit Hole. Overall, ATRI My Dear Moments is a stacked production. This visual novel has a good crew behind it, and given the types of visual novels these guys have worked on, this should be a clear sign to check ATRI out. ATRI My Dear Moments takes place in a future where an unexplained sea rise has sunken most of human civilization. Natsuki Ikuruga, a boy who has lost his mother and leg in an accident, has returned to his hometown with only a ship and a submarine left to his name. While searching for treasure in his grandmother's oceanic laboratory, he discovers a strange girl sleeping in a coffin at the bottom of the sea, ATRI. ATRI is a humanoid, a robot that looks and talks very similar to a human being. She proclaims that before she fell asleep, her master gave her one final order, and ATRI will stay with Natsuki as his leg until that order is fulfilled. As ATRI lives alongside Natsuki, the two meet other individuals along the way, and together, these children work to try to make a difference in the world sunk by the sea and reclaim their future. First off, let's talk about the art. Immediately, I can tell that ATRI doesn't want to settle for the standard visual novel sequence cuts, going as far as to integrate animation and visual effects into the work. This combination of graphics adds a lot of flair to simple, mundane moments like when Natsuki goes to the water or is having instances of phantom pain. For the CGs themselves, I love the realistic but faded art style of the background. While lacking in resolution quality when zoomed in, personally, I think that the faded, discolored visuals aid to create that rugged, rustic feel. These scenery CGs do a fantastic job in reflecting the apocalyptic state of the world, and yet it still looks beautiful. Additionally, if you like ATRI, you'll be treated to some great scene CGs of her, so look forward to that. The music of ATRI greatly echoes the aesthetic of the world. The music is very fitting, using acoustic and soothing piano pieces to fit the ocean countryside setting during its casual and calm moments. I would also like to point out how appropriate the piano works are as they create this ethereal, otherworldly, deep-sea vibes. But my favorite tracks to hear are the tracks that are intended to drive the tone, from the somber yet contemplative feelings of Vertigo to the uplifting and emotionally moving passion of When I See the Sparkle in Your Tears. These song pieces essentially breathe life into the visual novel, and Masamoto Fuminori did an absolute fantastic job. One of the great things I like about ATRI's writing is that it's very deliberate and straightforward. In regards to how the story handled the dialogue and text, each line feels very purposeful. From that scene of Rurika intensely reading on the rooftop, to Ryuji's interest in old rock music, it's through these suggestive details that help add layers of depth to the world and characters. It's simple, but I like the subtlety and steadiness of how the writing is presented. Our main character, Natsuki, is a great protagonist. Natsuki is a dropout from the academy, the prestigious school dedicated to raising gifted children to save humanity. We begin by meeting Natsuki and his pessimistic view on life after his harsh experience from the academy and his traumatizing losses. After being abandoned, we are shown his hopelessness and despair as he reflects living his life aimlessly, losing his purpose in this ruined world. An individual who was to become a shining beacon of hope for humanity has now turned into an empty shell of his former self. If the world can't be saved, neither can I. If I can't save the world, how can I be saved? But then everything changed once he met ATRI, the catalyst that transformed his life.
寝ながら叫ぶのは人としてなかなか器用な芸ですね。
As Natsuki gets accustomed to living his life with ATRI, he slowly starts to befriend the locals and begins to open up. We see him gradually change, becoming more motivated and happier. And here we get to see his most charming side, the Gap Moe. Natsuki is seemingly perfect but has distinctive flaws. Natsuki was a student at a prestigious school, he knows how to design and build complex constructions, and he can even pilot a submarine. And yet, he's a complete novice at love and relationships. As Ryuji would put it,
なんだよ、夏希。可愛いとこあるじゃねえか。
very cute. Just look at that blush. Natsuki's journey excellently mirrors the progression of the visual novel and the world, beginning in a devastated state in a world where everything looks hopelessly bleak, by experiencing wondrous moments with friends and family, acting as emotional support, they are able to light that dark and unsure path to that glistening, shining, hopeful future. ATRI is adorably cute. As the namesake, ATRI is the soul of this work. ATRI is a humanoid robot, a rarity of her kind in this transformed world. And yet, despite being a robot, she's very curious and expressive, displaying emotions almost as if she was a real-life human. ATRI proclaims that she's a very high-performance model, to which I would actually call her more high-maintenance if anything. She has a very prideful, show-off nature, but it comes across innocently and childlike that it puts a smile on my face. Many of the moments are dedicated to back-and-forth dialogue between ATRI and Natsuki, with her retorting back with the many laws of robotics. My favorite ones in particular, about her saying that she is actually a killer military robot.
私はロボットである。2、私は家事ができない。この2つの普遍的事実から演繹的に導き出した論理的帰結なので。
Outside of the playful attitude though, there's a delicate, soothing side to her with lots of heart. What began as a simple joke, with ATRI proclaiming to be Natsuki's leg, has evolved into something more profound. ATRI is consistently the supporting pillar for Natsuki with her positive and enthusiastic attitude, but also with her kind and comforting side. She encourages him to many of the interactions in the story, and as a result, it leads Natsuki to open up. And in return, creating pleasant experiences and memories for ATRI as she enjoys life to its fullest. Through their adventures together, there are moments of foreshadowing that the story loves to give about ATRI and Natsuki, which are very hard to ignore. It is key details like this that stays at the back of your mind that people can argue can be easily predicted, especially when halfway the story presents a plot twist that fundamentally changes the perspective. That said, I thought the story did a fine job in slowly seeding these plot points, and like I said before, each line has purpose. So when the visual novel finally revealed their hand, of course I found it expected, but it still hurt, damn it. In relation to ATRI's robotic traits, the visual novel likes to go in-depth about the technological advances in society despite the desolate world the cast lives in. And with their scientific progress, it also discusses our own preconceptions of what we think is unachievable, only to be counteracted by the possibilities of what can be achievable. There's a lot of care put into the background of the scientific know-how and profound details of ATRI that I'm merely scratching the surface, summarizing these points here. ATRI serves as a very clear contrast to Natsuki's starting personality and has a very resounding influence on him. Arguably, her emotional side is the essential core of this visual novel as it changes the status quo for the better. Both Natsuki and ATRI are clear contrasts to everyone around them. Despite that difference, they use their unique traits to aid their environment, to which the environment appreciatively returns back. Our leads are seemingly perfect individuals, a resourceful and inventive genius, and an extremely rare, one-of-a-kind humanoid robot. And it's their qualities that attract others to them. However, they are deeply flawed individuals, so it's up to our supporting cast to aid these two to provide them that breath of fresh air. ATRI My Dear Moments is a story largely focused on our main two leads, Natsuki and ATRI, but I would have loved to delve deeper into these side characters as each of them have their own personal stories in this devastated world. There's just so many aspects in this ambitious visual novel that can be explored, and thinking about it makes me wish that this visual novel was longer so I can continue to stay in this world. I didn't leave this visual novel with feelings of sadness, but rather feelings of happiness. ATRI is a brilliant piece of work, and it stands as one of my gold standards in storytelling. ATRI presents a wondrous world, simplistic in nature but full of passion and creativity. ATRI wonderfully tells an all-embracing, multifaceted story, showing a tale of inspirational growth, a passionate search for happiness, and a reflective view on the passage of time itself. Fully backed by such polished, high-quality music and artwork, it's a beautiful production that perfectly complements and matches the author's ambitions. There's just so much to unpack from the many fundamental elements within ATRI that the visual novel's fullest potential is only held back by how short the story is. But maybe that's the beauty of it. For such a wonderfully impactful experience, we should enjoy every moment of it. I give ATRI My Dear Moments a 5 out of 5 with a seal of approval. Subscribe if you liked the video and want to see more. Check back every week for new content. For more of my thoughts and the most up-to-date news on videos, you can find me on Twitter at TheAugustHale.